This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. The purple cauldron landed on the ground and shone with 4 different colors. Everyone's eyes immediately widened. Mo Huayuan, in particular, not only couldn't close his mouth, but he also jumped up. He couldn't stay calm anymore as he cried out in shock, "The 8th tier heaven dancing rotating purple gold cauldron that my master refined years ago." Yunxiao's eyes lit up. This purple cauldron was indeed a fine 8th tier one. Even he could tell that the person who refined it was very skilled, and that it was definitely the work of a famous master. Then, Mo Huayuan's words left him completely dumbfounded. Jin Xian looked at Mo Huayuan's shocked expression and heaved a sigh of relief. She smiled and said, "That's right, this is the 8th tier heaven dancing rotating purple gold cauldron that Master Mo's master once refined. Last month, there was an auction at the Myriad Treasures store, and Jin Xian was willing to pay any price to buy it." Suddenly, Mo Huayuan could not help but shed 2 streams of tears. He caressed the purple cauldron lovingly and muttered to himself, "Master, I've already advanced to the 8th step. Can I return to the holy region?" Over the years, the Purple Cloud Chamber of Commerce has paid special attention to Master Yuan Gohan's news, Jin Xian said softly. "But it's like a stone sinking into the sea. We can't find anything." Yunxiao's mouth was wide open in shock, and he looked a little dazed as he said in a daze, His master is Yuan Gohan." Jin Xian glanced at Yunxiao, thinking that he had been shocked by Yuan Gohan's name. She smiled and said, "That's right. He is Master Yuan Gohan, a 9th tier great alchemist who holds the position of an elder in the holy city of Misty Snow." Mo Huayuan sighed. "My master announced 10 years ago that he was going into seclusion. He's trying to reach the pinnacle of the art of divination. I don't know when he'll come out." His gaze fell on the heavenly spinning purple gold cauldron, full of respect and piety. Yunxiao felt a sense of powerlessness in his heart. If he knew that Yuan Gohan's starlight soul body was imprisoned in the Divine Realm tablet by him, he wondered if he would fight him to the death. He immediately sent a voice transmission to the Divine Realm tablet and said, "Old Yuan, you have a disciple called Mo Huayuan? Why? Isn't this Huayuan? Where are you, South Fire City?" Now that he had confirmed it, Yunxiao said with a dark face, "Your disciple is very arrogant. He's actually reached the 8th step. Not bad, we can return to the holy region." After Yuan Gohan's burst of joy, he didn't say anything and continued to study the gourd little King Kong. In his opinion, it was more important to study the gourd little King Kong than to see his beloved disciple who had left for so long. Yunxiao said, "Hey, old Yuan, what did he do back then? Why did you have to banish him from the Saint Realm to this godforsaken place?" Yuan Gohan raised his head and pondered for a moment before saying, "This disciple of mine is extremely talented and unruly. I brought him here to Southfire City to train his heart." After that, he fell silent. Yunxiao was slightly surprised, but he knew that the truth was not that simple. But since he was not willing to say, it would not be good to force him. Yuan Gohan was silent for a long time before he spoke again, "This disciple of mine is the son of Black Iron City's mayor." "What?" Yunxiao's heart jolted, and a shocked look appeared on his face as he stared at Mo Huayuan. He did look somewhat similar to the man in his mind. No wonder he had a familiar feeling from the beginning. "Master Mo, do you know Mo Xiaochuan?" Mo Huayuan was still staring at the spinning purple gold cauldron in a daze, immersed in his memories. When he heard Yunxiao's words, his eyes immediately shone as if he had been electrocuted. He stared at Yunxiao for a while and said, "What did you say? Who are you?" Yunxiao was taken aback, not knowing why he had such a big reaction. He frowned and said, "I'm an old acquaintance of Mo Xiaochuan. I heard that you're also from Black Iron City, so I'm asking. Who do you think you are?" Mo Huayuan sneered coldly. "Do you think you're worthy of knowing my big brother?" His tone gradually turned cold, and with a hint of anger, he said coldly, "If you continue to inquire about my big brother's whereabouts, then I will have no choice but to treat you as an enemy and destroy you." Yunxiao was taken aback. It turned out that Mo Xiaochuan was his elder brother, and he was Yuan Gohan's disciple. In that case, they could be considered as one of their own. He was a little confused. Why were these people so mysterious? He wanted to continue asking, but when he saw the other party's bone-piercing cold eyes that seemed to want to kill, he stopped. Jin Xian was anxious. He did not know how Yunxiao had angered Mo Huayuan, and he was afraid that the good atmosphere he had painstakingly built would be disrupted. Great Grandmaster, please calm your anger. My friend is too young and insensible. I hope you can forgive him. Mo Huayuan's expression finally warmed up. His right hand gently caressed the heaven-dancing rotating purple gold cauldron as he sighed softly. President Jin Xian, since you've brought over my master's proud work, I must return this friendship no matter what. But this time, I'm really powerless this time. Jin Xian was shocked. Master Mo, he said in horror, even you are afraid. What exactly is it that makes you unwilling to help? Mo Huayuan was silent for a moment before he said, I can't tell you the reason, but I can tell you who stopped me from helping. It was the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce. What? It's the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce. Wu Chen flew into a rage and trembled with anger. No wonder they gave me such a perfunctory reply when we asked to borrow their teleportation array. Although the Purple Cloud Trade Union relies on the Tianyuan Trade Union, we have never been on bad terms with them. Why do they have to make things difficult for us? This is a matter between your chambers of commerce, Mo Huayuan replied indifferently. How would I know? I hope you will reconsider, Master Mo, Jin Xian said in a deep voice. Whatever the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce can give you, the Purple Cloud Chamber of Commerce will also do the same. You can't, Mo Huayuan shook his head. Yunxiao could not stand it anymore. Jin Xian, why are you talking to this stupid bird? He obviously won't care. He smacked the purple cauldron with his hand and lifted it up, preparing to leave. This swan and I. This is my master's heavenly dance rotating purple gold cauldron swan and I. Mo Huayuan was stunned as he tried to snatch it away with both hands. Yunxiao held the purple cauldron in front of him and stopped him with his left hand. What master, this is Jin Xian's. She paid a high price to buy it from Myriad Treasures store. This swan and I, this swan and I. Mo Huayuan looked at Jin Xian and said awkwardly, President Jin Xian, how much is this heavenly dance spinning purple gold cauldron? I'll buy it. Yunxiao sneered, you think you can buy it just because you want to? All right, 100 million supreme-grade primordial stones, take it. You're going too far. Mo Huayuan ignored him in a fit of anger. Instead, he turned to Jin Xian and said, President Jin Xian, please give a fair price. Although this purple cauldron has great practical use, it's more of a memento to me. Jin Xian was about to speak when Yunxiao dragged her behind him. He raised his chin and glared at Mo Huayuan, then said coldly, you stupid bird, since you can't help me, why do I still want to sell you the cauldron? Can't I just take it back and play it like a ball? Don't you hear, I won't fall for your tricks. This buy-in. Mo Huayuan's face was filled with anger, but he had nothing to say. That's true. He wasn't even helping, so why did she have to flatter him and befriend him? He was at a loss for words. Jin Xian said, Master Mo, even if you can't use your full strength, as long as you can give me a few pointers, I'll be eternally grateful. I'll also offer you the heavenly dance rotating purple gold cauldron with both hands. She took out some things from her ring and placed them on the coffee table one by one. They were profound level weapons and medicinal pills. There were 10 items in total and they were arranged in 2 rows. Yunxiao's pupils constricted slightly as he immediately discovered some problems. The 2 rows of items were basically the same, but the ones on the top row were obviously of higher quality than the ones below, and the refining technique was stronger. Jin Xian's face revealed desolation and he sighed. Master Mo, please take a look. These 5 items are the main products of the Purple Cloud Trade Union. They account for almost half of the entire trade union's profits. And now, a new chamber of commerce has emerged. It's unknown and never heard of before, but it rose up among the many chambers of commerce at lightning speed. What surprised us was that this chamber of commerce seemed to be targeting us, and all of their products were exactly the same as ours. But when she said this, her body trembled slightly. Her eyes were slightly red and her two pink fists were tightly clenched. But their quality is higher, Yuanshao continued. He finally understood that the 5 items on display must belong to the new trade association, and the one below must belong to the Purple Cloud Trade Association. Not only is the quality higher, but the price is also cheaper. Jin Xian gritted his teeth. She picked up one of the pills and said, for example, this 4 Revolutions genuine pill can increase the success rate of warriors below the martial arts grandmaster level by 5 to 20% every time they make a breakthrough. The price is 3 million medial grade primordial stones. Then, she picked up the elixir on top of the 4 Revolutions true pill, a trace of hostility flashed in her eyes, and she said hatefully, however, their 4 Revolutions genuine pill is almost at the level of our 5 Revolutions genuine pill. It can help warriors below the martial arts grandmaster level to break through by 12 to 25%. Moreover, the price is only 2.8 million medium-grade primordial stones. Although it only increased the probability by 2 to 5%, it was already a very heaven-defying existence, not to mention that it was even cheaper. The improvement in the effects of the products and the lower prices were indeed fatal blows. If it's just a 4th Revolution true pill, then it's fine, Jin Xian said with hatred. The product was inferior to the person, so she could only find the reason himself. What's more infuriating is that all of their products are targeted at the Purple Cloud Trade Union. We have 72 alchemy products in total, and they happen to have 72 as well, no more and no less, and all of them correspond to ours. Even the Purple Cloud Trade Association's branches on the Heavenly Martial Continent that specialize in purchasing ores and spiritual herbs have set up similar branches and are purchasing them at a higher price than us. All of this is to kill us. Mo Huayuan frowned as well. He picked up the 2 5th-rank longswords and observed them carefully. Could they have used better materials to engage in vicious competition? Jin Xian gritted his teeth and said, at first, we thought so too. We planned to let them go. If the Purple Cloud Chamber of Commerce were to produce products of such quality and sell them at their price, they would lose at least 1 billion medial-grade primordial stones every month. This does not include the expenses of various processes. It is not something a new Chamber of Commerce can afford. Wu Chen suddenly said, President, it seems that this Chamber of Commerce is a sock puppet Chamber of Commerce under the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce. Now that we're in such a situation, the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce has been going against us and even threatened Grandmaster Mo Huayuan. Moreover, only the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce has the strength to afford such a vicious competition. Mo Huayuan frowned and said unhappily, I wasn't threatened by them. We were just taking what we needed. They gave me something I couldn't refuse. They are definitely targeting you, but it is not a vicious competition, Yuanshao said indifferently. The refining techniques contained in their products are indeed better than yours, and the materials they choose will not be more expensive than yours. In other words, their cost is indeed lower than yours. Mo Huayuan was taken aback. It was only then that he gave Yuanshao a serious look and said in surprise, You can tell? Yuanshao put down a profound-level weapon in his hand and said indifferently, I guessed. Mo Huayuan's heart ached when he heard that. Yuanshao's impervious attitude made him feel as if there was a fishbone stuck in his throat, making him extremely uncomfortable. Comparing these 5 items, he also felt that something was wrong, but he could not tell what it was. After hearing Yuanshao's words, he felt that it was indeed the case. Not only were there slight changes in the materials used, but the refining technique was also very brilliant. Mo Huayuan coldly snorted, Guessed? Why can't I guess it, but you can? Yuanshao rolled his eyes at him and said, Isn't the Tao of alchemy just 2 things, materials and techniques? You can't even guess it, and you still have the face to say it? This, you. Mo Huayuan was speechless. He felt like he would be angered to death, but he had no way of retorting. Master Mo, please don't take offense. Young Master Yun is young and doesn't understand, Jin Xian hurriedly said. Mo Huayuan waved his hand and interrupted, let's not talk about this. There should be alchemists who are as powerful as me in the Purple Cloud Chamber of Commerce, so why did they go through so much trouble to find me? If the other 8th tier alchemists can't solve it, I can't do anything either. That's right, Jin Xian said solemnly. We also have an 8th tier alchemist master in the Purple Cloud Chamber of Commerce, but he can't analyze the components contained in the products of this new Chamber of Commerce. It was that master who guided me to find you, because you have mastered the reverse refining method. Mo Huayuan and Yun Xiao's faces flickered at the same time with different expressions. The so-called reverse refining technique was a reverse refining technique. Back in the outer space, Yuan Gaohan had directly refined the golden soul slave back to its pure soul power, which was a reverse refining technique. However, there were very few people who had mastered this kind of art, and its use was very limited. However, it was extremely useful to analyze the ingredients of the finished product. Mo Huayuan held the 4 Revolution True pill in his hand and examined it carefully before saying, the reverse refining method I know is also very limited. The most important thing is that I can't help you like this. Otherwise, the agreement between me and the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce will be void. Master, Jin Xian said anxiously. Please help me analyze these 5 products. These 5 items were the core products of the Purple Cloud Chamber of Commerce. The main reason was that they could take back the market. After the 2 meetings of the Merchant Union, as long as Tianyuan Chamber of Commerce could stabilize its position, they could slowly take back the other markets. Yun Xiao sneered. What's the use of begging him? It wasn't that he didn't want to help, but he didn't have the ability. Even if Yuan Gaohan was here, he wouldn't be able to reverse refine the raw materials for these 5 items. Mo Huayuan's expression changed drastically. How dare you call my master by his name? How dare you? How rude. Yuan Gaohan, Yun Xiao said contemptuously. I called that. What's wrong? Are you going to kill me? Do you have the ability to do so? You coward. Mo Huayuan's body trembled with anger. No one had ever dared to provoke him like this. He could see Yun Xiao's strength as a 5 stars martial grandmaster at a glance, but he was only a 1 stars martial grandmaster. Although he claimed to have an advantage in soul power, he did not think that he could kill someone who was 4 stars above him. In Southfire City, his status was unparalleled. All forces had to give him some face, so there were no guards in the courtyard, because there was no need for them at all. No one would be stupid enough to offend him, but this time, he was facing Yun Xiao. Don't try to goad me into action, I won't be fooled. Although Mo Huayuan was furious, he said coldly, thinking that he had seen through Yun Xiao's means. Yuan Gaohan's loud laughter also came from the Divine Realm tablet. Boy, you want to provoke my disciple? You're far from it. His voice was filled with pride, clearly very satisfied with Mo Huayuan's performance. Yun Xiao stretched out a finger, shook it, and said with a sneer, goading? Do you have the right? It's better for Yuan Gaohan to come personally, don't be angry. If you don't believe me, do you dare to bet with me? Mo Huayuan's eyes, ears, and nose were all burning with anger. He laughed in anger. Bet with you? Could it be that they were betting on who was more stupid? Then I'll admit defeat. What a fool. Yun Xiao sneered. Don't you think your master will be very sad if he sees you like this? I'll bet with you on analyzing these 5 profound armament materials. Whoever can analyze them the fastest and most completely will win. Mo Huayuan laughed heartily. You're just trying to goad me into action. Once I've analyzed everything, it's no big deal that you've lost. Yun Xiao stared at him coldly and said unhurriedly, if I lose, I'll give you my head. If you lose, as long as I'm in Southfire City, you'll have to bow your head and listen to my orders. How about it? Yuan Gaohan's disciple, don't you want to make your master proud? Mo Huayuan's heart skipped a beat, and his eyes widened in shock. What did you say? If I lose, you'll give me your head and neck? You think you can beat me? His original anger was gone, replaced by great shock and doubt. The feeling Yun Shao gave him was by no means that of a rash and reckless young man. Under that frivolous look, there was a sophisticated temperament and an indescribable temperament. As an 8th-tier alchemist, although he could not see through Yun Xiao's true condition, he could sense that he was extraordinary. It was also because of this that he found it hard to believe when the other party said that he was betting his life. Yun Xiao took a step forward and said with a smile, "Do you dare to make a bet? Don't you want to win a match for your master to see? Let him see that you have enough power to return to the saint level." Mo Huayuan's expression darkened as he shouted, "Don't you dare use my master's name. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. I accept this challenge. Originally, you have no right to challenge me, but you have rudely called my master's name many times. I don't care who you are, today I will take your head and use your blood to wipe away your disrespectful words." Jin Xian was very anxious. She did not expect Yun Shao to be so rash, and the matter had suddenly developed to this extent. She hurriedly stopped him and said, "Master Mo, young Master Yun is. Don't say any more, I've already accepted the challenge." He waved his hand to stop Jin Xian. He raised his head proudly and said, "How do you want to compete?" A sense of powerlessness welled up in Jin Xian's heart. If she had known this would happen, she would not have brought Yun Shao here. Even if she had offended Mo Huayuan, she could not let anything happen to Yun Shao. Otherwise, it would affect the 2 upcoming meetings, and when Tianyuan Trading Company collapsed, they would not be able to stand on their own. Yuan Gohan's voice came from the Divine Realm tablet, and he was also very shocked. "Li Yun Shao, are you really going to compete with my disciple? And with your head? Could it be that you're trying to play tricks?" He would never think that Yun Shao could beat his disciple. Thinking of the boy's many tricks, he immediately snorted and said, "I don't care what you do, but don't you dare hurt my disciple." Yun Shao sent a voice transmission over and snorted coldly, "Just open your eyes and see how I beat your disciple. A high soul power isn't the deciding factor. Your disciple should have just advanced to the 8th step not long ago, so let me give him a good lesson, free of charge." "You coward." Yuan Gaohan was rendered speechless. Yun Shao was talking about his way of nature, but only with a super strong understanding of the Tao of magic could he make up for the lack of soul power in terms of techniques and other aspects. Since his apprentice was an 8th-tier alchemist, and he had learned a lot from him, his skills were naturally no worse than others. He was indeed curious about what Yun Shao could do to defeat him. At this moment, the arrow was already on the string. Yun Shao pointed at the 5 pairs of items on the table and said, "I'll use the simplest method. You choose an item and have Jin Xian produce the same materials. You and I will refine it at the same time. Whoever refines the higher quality will win. Are you sure you want to compete like this?" Everyone was taken aback. In that case, there was no such thing as trickery at all. It was a test of the alchemist's overall strength, and it was the fairest way of competition that was used the most. If Yun Shao had won the competition, it would directly prove that his art of Tao was above Mo Huayuan's. Yuan Gaohan was also dumbfounded, his face immediately darkened, and he thought, this kid was indeed up to something, but he didn't know what kind of despicable means he was going to use to deal with Huayuan. Could Huayuan handle it? He was worried, but for some reason, he was looking forward to it. He wanted to see what his disciple had achieved. Good, very good. How dare you play with me? I'll play with you until the end. You're the one who brought this upon yourself, so you can't blame anyone else, Mo Huayuan retorted angrily. He took out an exquisite dagger, unsheathed it and stuck it on the table. He said softly, "This is the frost pearl dagger that my master gave me. I'll use it to take your head later."